Right, it snowed all day yesterday, and I actually think it got colder overnight, but the sun feels a little bit warm this morning, so I want to test out my car. I haven't driven it for a week, so I just want to test out reliability. Obviously it depends on the battery, but I think it's going to start fine. These old Japanese cars are good. So yeah, just looking at it now. Looks like kids have used the snow on my car for making snowballs. It's fine. No central lock-in. Careful not to get snow all over the inside of the car. Right. So I got a little temperature gauge. There you go, minus 0.8 in here, and the battery is 12.6. This is about normal. So let's see if it starts. I'll just set this camera up. Right, 37-year-old car, hasn't been started up for nearly a week. It's like 5-6 days. Extreme cold. Let's see how it goes. Start the accelerator, neutral. No problem at all. It's fine, no problem at all. Right, that just wasted a bit of battery power, but I just want to make a video to show these old cars, these old Japanese cars are still working really well, even after coming up 4 decades later after they're built. So we're living in an era where cars that are 30-40 years old today are still quite often maintenance free and reliable. Like this one is really good, really lucky, and I think it's the last that's going to happen. I can't imagine cars being built today will be reliable in 30 years time. Electric cars, like the batteries they say are only going to last 10 years, and a 10-year-old electric car that needs like a £5,000 battery fitted, it's going to be worth nothing. People will just throw them away and buy new ones. So yeah, so I don't believe electric cars are the answer for CO2. They might have zero emissions, like the governments are obsessed with emissions, but the actual pollution caused from the production of those cars, and then there's still the usual energy supply to charge up the batteries. So that's all a load of bollocks. Close this window. Yeah, so we're living in an era where 30-40-year-old cars are quite often still relatively maintenance free and reliable. Like, I had to replace a water pump on this car, and that's it. In 2 years of ownership, it's coming up 2 years. It's been totally reliable. Just when I got it, just needed a little bit of maintenance, just like new oil filter and air filter and stuff. And I changed the fuel filter as well, new spark plugs, just real basic stuff. But I haven't really had any major faults with it. Just the water pump was the worst thing. Quite amazing, really. Like 35-year-old water pump gone. It was metal casing. I think you'll find in modern cars, even like an expensive Mercedes, are made in plastic now, and they don't last. You think of all the cycles are going hot cold or through the seasons, starting the car up and running really hot. It's got that sort of chemically water going through it. Plastic's not going to last, but they don't want it to. What modern car manufacturers do, they run computer simulations, and they will design it just so the car will get through warranty, and then they don't really care after that. Second-hand car sales is not really their thing. It's new car sales and people buy loads of options, I think, that make loads of money, and then obviously servicing and repairs they like to make money on. So I think it's in their favor to make cars that break a little bit more than they should. Back in the 80s and 90s, they didn't have all these really technologically clever and advanced computer simulations, so they couldn't do it as much as they probably would have liked to. So good for us, because we can buy these old cars cheap, and then they're really maintenance free and just fun to drive as well. So yeah, these old cars, if you're thinking of getting one, don't worry about reliability too much. If you can get one kind of low mileage, this one's 52, coming up 53,000 kilometers, so it's like 35,000 miles. So quite low miles, but it's still old. It's old. Everything is old on this car, but it works fine. So if you can get a car that's not necessarily well looked after, but just not abused, I think is the thing to aim for. If you can get an old car that's not abused, you should, fingers crossed, not have too much trouble with it. So yeah, I've got no hesitation to use this car just whenever I want, as often as I want, and however I want. It's fine. So yeah, these old cars are pretty good. If you're thinking of getting an old Japanese car, I'm talking about Japanese cars, I think, mainly. Yeah, as long as it's not been abused, shouldn't have too much trouble, fingers crossed.